Hey everybody, happy Friday. You might notice I'm still in my pajamas from yesterday, and I thought I'd make a video about why. One of the problems when you have a chronic health condition is sometimes you need a little bit of help getting through your day. And like I said yesterday, I've been fantastic. Everything's great. Never better. World is wonderful. Doctors are wonderful. All that kind of stuff. But what really has been annoying me lately, and this happened both before the cath and obviously since, is just the administrative junk. So beforehand, before the cath, like I said, I wasn't doing great. I was on oxygen. Y'all saw all of that. And so I had to have like a home health nurse that came by, checked me out, made sure I was doing good, checked all my equipment, made sure all my equipment was doing good, made sure I wasn't my heart rate wasn't cuckoo, I was getting enough oxygen, I wasn't losing a ton of weight, all those things. I didn't really need 24/7 care. Like, I could walk around. I could, quote unquote, manage my own care. But the problem has been, since I've gotten back from the cath, obviously the incentive from the insurance company is they don't want me to go back to the hospital, right? Like, they want, you did this procedure, you're good now, let's keep it that way, right? So they still want to check in, they still want to have a professional put eyes on me and, do that kind of thing. But what's been really frustrating is starting that process over. So once you've been in the hospital for, I think it's overnight was what they said. But once you've been over the hospital, your doctor has to write new orders for the home health people of hey, this is what I want you to look for. This is, the numbers I want to see, I'm sure it's all going to be fairly identical, right? I think maybe the only new thing would be sorry. Sorry, cough. I really should get a stabilizer for this if I'm gonna do more videos. But anyway, apologies for that. But anyway, the only thing that would probably measure that's new is, right, I have a cath. I have cath, wound sites, I guess. They're not really wounds, they're pretty well healed by this point anyway. But, check those out, make sure those are going good. That kind of thing. And getting those new orders has apparently been an adventure, which I don't blame on my doctors. I really think, if the whole system worked, then, we wouldn't be here. But I didn't go to work yesterday because they were like, you need to be home. So when the home health nurse comes, they can check you out. And even the day before that, they were like, oh yeah, they're gonna come and check you out and do all the stuff. And they were like, okay. It's just what it is I've talked to my nurse, and my nurse is obviously, she doesn't have any control of who she goes to see or whatever. I mean, she's nice. She's like, do you need anything? Can I help you with anything? So obviously I'm tons better. I don't need anything. But it puts me in a hole because on the administrative end, they need my doctor to write notes. And I'm 99% sure that they've actually written the note. I should go in and, double check that they've written that note. But they have to write new orders. Then those orders have to get faxed over to the home health people. Home health people have to get those orders. They have to make sure they're the right orders. They have to get the approval from the insurance company. Wait for the approval for the insurance company. Once the insurance company approves it, then they have to put it on the new schedule. And so that's where it's hung up, is not in the, not in the actual providing care part. Like I said, my nurse, even though, I'm not on her schedule, I called her. She answered immediately and was like, hey, you doing good? How can I help? And basically she was like, yeah, the only thing I can do is talk to my boss. And my boss has to put the thing in the computer. And it's this computer stuff, right? It's like everybody has a different EHR, has a different electronic health record system. Epic has been a fantastic tool, but not everybody uses Epic. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of my doctors use Epic so they can all see everything. But, my mom's a physician. Her, workplace doesn't use Epic. And so it's all this like interconnectedness that theoretically there's standards, so they should all talk to each other. But, this software is different than that software, is different than some other software, like the VA, I forget what the name of it is, but the VA uses a different health system, right? So if you're a veteran, even if you have like a doctor that doesn't work for the VA, the systems have to talk to each other, and the approvals should happen, in my opinion, fairly automatically, right? If the home health people say, hey, you've been in the hospital overnight, that triggers a new thing. That trigger should happen automatically. And then goes to your doctor. Your doctor puts in new orders. When they send those orders, the the home health admin people shouldn't have to manually type up the new orders, right? It should all be, fairly workflow automated. I mean, I'm sure someone, should have a button to be like, yes, this is correct. No, that's not. And then edit it. But why this all has to go through the fax machine and, all that kind of stuff when we live in the age of, systems that can do more than that is beyond me. And don't even get me started on, LLMs and getting into how AI is changing our world, because that's a whole nother video. Which, again, as someone who works in developing those systems, it's cool. I use them 100% of the time. But there's use cases where it's useful and use cases where it's not. So, anyway, that's my little rant for this morning while I'm waiting for the home health nurse to come check me out. I'm probably still going to get a shower and change and everything, but I really don't want to spend another day at home when I can go be doing other things. Yeah. All right. Well, have yourself a fantastic day, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.